Hey guys, welcome back to PristineZReads. As you can see, today I have a lot of books with me. A lot. And so, in case you're wondering why I'm not doing a book review again, it's because I couldn't coordinate a meeting with my friend this week again. But we're doing it next week for sure, okay? So don't worry. There will be a review next week coming out. Okay, but this video today is about my favorite book series ever, and I know you're thinking that it should probably be like one series, but I can't decide. I am blessed with the gift of indecision. So these are all the series that I really like and like could not live without. Okay, so these are my favorite series, plural. So I'll just give a brief introduction of all these different series, tell you why I like them and what kind of audiences I recommend them for, and hey, if you guys see something here that you like, please check it out. I will have the links to all these, mostly the authors' websites, in the description below, because I wouldn't have to like link every single book in the description because that would be a lot. So let's get straight into the first series. Okay, here is the first series that I just have up. So this is not like in the order of my favorites, just in a random order. So the first series that I'm going to show you is the Wingfeather Saga by Andrew Peterson. So this is technically just a 4-book series. This is an extra volume, and in this series has On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness is number 1. Number 2 is North or Be Eaten. Number 3 is The Monster in the Hollows, and number 4 is The Warden and the Wolf King. And this is the extra volume with all these little fun stories in the same world. It's called The Wingfeather Tales. So this series I love so much. I got it a few years ago, but yeah. Anyway, so I love this series a lot. I can honestly say that it made me cry, okay? The series made me cry, okay? This last book, I cried during the ending. I have heard the series being called The Next Chronicles of Narnia. But yeah, anyways, I love this series so much. It's in the fantasy genre, also with it's like fiction, fantasy, young adult. So I think I would recommend this for ages 10 plus, I think. But if you have a really mature 9-year-old, then they can probably read it too. Yeah, but the storyline is pretty complicated. There are a lot of different plot twists and stuff. But anyways, yeah, I love this series so much. I'll have to be doing another series of video reviews on this, but that is for another time. So yeah, that is the Wingfeather Saga by Andrew Peterson. Remember, I have links to his website in the description below, and yeah, so that's the first series, and let's go to the next one. So the next one that I'm going with is the Dinah Harris Mysteries by Julie Cave, and this I think is my favorite series so far in the mystery genre. It's also suspense. I mean, I wouldn't say it's purely mystery. Yeah, I guess it is kind of more suspense, but yeah, this is amazing. Such a thriller. The author is Christian. I got this series for my birthday last year at my family's road trip to the Creation Museum. So yeah, anyways, so this series is by Julie Cave. There are 4 books in it. The first one is Deadly Disclosures. The second one is Pieces of Light. The third is The Shadowed Mind. And the fourth is The Dark Heart. These books are all told with a really good Christian worldview. I do say though that they address some pretty heavy topics. The Shadowed Mind addresses eugenics. I don't think I said that right, but EUGENICS. But anyways, yeah, it addresses that. This addresses abuse and some suicide, and this is about a serial bomber. And yeah, so they address some pretty heavy stuff, so I'd say 11 to 12 plus for this series. But anyways, it was amazing. The suspense and everything just like kept me on my seat the entire time. And yeah, I highly recommend. Link to her website in the description below. And yeah, let's go to the next series. So, next one is the Sunlit Lands by Matt Nicolatos. I have reviewed these already. Please go check out my videos on them if you haven't already. But anyway, so there are 2 books in this series currently right now, The Crescent Stone and The Heartwood Crown. There is a 3rd one scheduled to come out. I'm not exactly sure when it's coming out. It's called The Story King. But anyways, I'm really excited for that to come out because the last one, The Heartwood Crown, was kind of on a cliffhanger. And it was really sad too. The ending was bittersweet. But yeah, anyway, so I love this. I think I recommend it for like 10 to 11 plus again. This is the fantasy genre, along with the young adult genre, so it's kind of like a blend between those two. And yeah, anyways, I love Nicolatos' work. This is a great series. Highly recommend. It's not super long. I have some other really long series here. But yeah, these aren't super long. I know sometimes my definition of long is different compared to other people's definition of long. It also says here, like, it's for Narnia fans who enjoy heavy snark. This is a must-read. So yeah, anyways, the series was so funny. I think I could feature in humor too. But yeah, anyways, so The Sunlit Lands by Matt Nicolatos. Alright, next up. So I have here the Hagenheim series by Melanie Dickerson. I have done a series of reviews on these already, as you might have seen on my YouTube channel. But yeah, go check those out again. So this series is also quite a long series. The Peasant's Dream, the last book in the series, comes out July 1st, I think. Anyways, yeah, so excited for that. But this is in the romance genre more, and I don't read a whole lot of romance, but I mean, this is a really good pick. I have a lot of different series from different genres, and this would be my romance genre pick. So, the first book is The Healer's Apprentice. It's a Sleeping Beauty retelling, but you could watch my other videos to see that. The next 2 books, The Merchant's Daughter and The Fairest Beauty, I don't have them right now because I was lending them to a friend. But yeah, so this is the 4th one, The Captive Maiden. The 5th one, The Princess Spy. The 6th one is The Golden Braid. The 7th is The Silent Songbird. And the 8th is The Orphan's Wish. The 9th is The Warrior Maiden. The 10th is The Piper's Pursuit, and then last but not least, The Peasant's Dream, which I do not have right now, but I aim to have soon. Anyways, yeah, so that is the Hagenheim series by Melanie Dickerson. I have a link to her website in the description below. Go check that out and check out my other reviews of these books. So, I recommend this genre for, like, my ages vary on different books, but it's mostly like 12 to 13 plus, I would say. But yeah, anyways, so that's the Hagenheim series. Next up, and I have with me here the Epic Order of the Seven series by Jenny L. Coate. So this series is amazing. I've got it a few years back. I really had these 6 books. This one came out in April, and this one was 2 years ago, I think. But yeah, anyways, so what this series is, it's basically, okay, so the author had a really amazing idea here, okay? So the series is basically like a telling of the different events in the Bible, but they're told as like actual history, and it's just amazing because the author is like saying for a fact that this was real, this did happen. And so what she's doing is basically she's putting like animals in the Bible, and she uses them as they kind of manipulate different events in the history, which would not have happened if the animals hadn't been there. So it technically starts out with the amazing tales of Max and Liz, but I think of the series as one. Anyway, so the first one is The Ark, the Reed, and the Fire Cloud. If you couldn't tell, it tells the story of Noah's Ark, basically. Yeah, and so like they were the animals that got called into the Ark, and it was just really cool. The next one is The Dreamer, the Schemer, and the Robe, which takes place mostly telling the stories of Joseph in Pharaoh's palace in Egypt. So yeah, those are the Amazing Tales of Max and Liz, and then Jenny Elcote switches to the Epic Order of the Seven series. The next one is The Prophet, the Shepherd, and the Star, which basically tells the stories all the way from Isaiah and the prophecies about Jesus to the point where Jesus was born, and yeah. So that is that. Next up is The Roman, the 12, and the King. So this is really interesting, okay? It puts us first in the time of Handel, you know, the guy who composed the Messiah, and it tells about the animals, like they gave him the inspiration for his music, and they helped him compose it. So, but for them to do that, they had to gain a fresh outlook on the event that Handel was writing about, which is the life of Jesus. So they traveled back in time to the life of Jesus, the calling of his disciples, the different miracles, his death and his resurrection, and it's really beautiful and just this powerful and potent way of telling the story of the Bible through fresh eyes, and it was really amazing, and I cried at the crucifixion. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. Next up is The Wind, the Road, and the Way. This puts the animals in the time of the coming of the Holy Spirit at Pentecost, and then they follow Paul around on his first missionary journey. And yeah, so that's that. The next one is The Fire, the Revelation, and the Fall. This tells the story of the rest of Paul's missionary journeys, and also the birth of the early church in Rome, the different trials they underwent, and yeah, anyways, just really amazing. I love this so much, and yeah. So then we do a kind of time skip. Next is her Revolutionary trilogy that's inside the Epic Order of the Seven series. So the first book in this trilogy is The Voice, the Revolution, and the Key. And this tells a story like pre-America's struggle for independence. So like I said, a huge time skip from the birth of the early church in Acts all the way to the beginning of American independence, the revolution basically. And so it puts the animals in the forming of America, which was really cool, even though I'm Canadian. Fun trivia about me. I was born in America, California. So yeah. Technically, I am an American too, I guess. I have dual citizenship. But yeah, so that's that. Next up is The Declaration, the Sword, and the Spy. This is the second book in a Revolutionary trilogy. It came out in April, and I finished reading it like a week ago. So yeah. And yeah, this keeps going with the Revolution. There is so much history packed into these two books. Like, I feel like there was more history than actual fiction. So it's awesome for readers who kind of like nonfiction and nonfiction. And it's awesome for readers who like fiction and nonfiction. This is like a perfect blend of the two, I think. So that's really good. But yeah, and she is currently writing the third book in the Revolutionary trilogy. It's called The Marquise, The Escape, and The Forge. So yeah, that's the third book. I'm not sure when it's coming out. Hopefully soon. But yeah, anyways, I love this series. I think I would recommend them for ages 10 plus. It is pretty complicated, especially in the last two books. I think it might be okay for ages 9 plus for the books that tell the biblical history, but for the last two books, they have a lot more like American history in them, including like the writing of the Declaration of Independence and all that stuff. So yeah, I really like this series. It obviously features in this video. So yeah, next let's get on to the next series. Okay, the next series is Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. I'm currently reviewing this series right now on my channel. Right now I'm supposed to be reviewing Never Seen. But yeah, anyway, so this series is just amazing, okay? It's in the fantasy genre, and I recommend it for ages 10 to 11 plus, because it's a really complicated storyline. There are so many different, like, twists, amazing world building, and super awesome characters, and just Messenger's writing is amazing. So there are currently 8 books in the series. Book 8.5, Unlocked, is scheduled for release in November, and book 9 for next year, November. I can't wait for Unlocked to come out, but for now I have to reread the series over and over again. Like, actually, I've already read the series 4 times. I'm not kidding you. So yeah, the first one is Keeper of the Lost Cities, second is Exile, third Everblaze, fourth Neverseen, fifth Lodestar, sixth Nightfall, seventh Flashback, 8th Legacy, and 8.5 is Unlocked. So yeah, it's so amazing. Okay, I don't even have the words to tell you how awesome it is, okay? Just that you have to read it, okay? Shannon Messenger is not a Christian, but like I've said in my video reviews of the first 3 books so far, she holds really good moral standards and just a good understanding of like right and wrong. So yeah, I highly recommend this series. Next up. So next up is the Ashtown Burials by N.D. Wilson, and this is a 3-book series right now. The first one being The Dragon's Tooth, the second being The Drowned Vault, and the third being The Empire of Bones. So kind of an ominous title. But yeah, so currently a 4th book is in the making. It's called The Silent Bells, but for some complicated publisher reasons, he's only publishing it in a serial in the forms of a newspaper before he can find his own publisher to actually print it as a book. That's my understanding, at least. So I love this series so much, I need to read The Silent Bells because the last book was like a cliffhanger, pretty much. A character was about to die, and I want to see if he doesn't die because I still hold out hope for him. So yeah, anyways, this series is in like the fantasy/young adult. I have a lot of fantasy series that I like. It's really cool. Anyways, yeah, the world building is amazing. So I would recommend this series for ages 10 plus, I think, because it is pretty complicated, I'll say that. And it has a lot to do with like death and resurrection. Especially in the last book, it got kind of darkish with all the different like callings and resurrecting people, but yeah, anyways, it's definitely a series to give you a little like, you know, thrill, some goosebumps, but yeah, anyways, so I will review this series, don't worry, I have a lot of books to review, but I'm taking it one series at a time. So yeah, that is the Ashtown Burials by N.D. Wilson, link to his website in the description below, and yeah, let's go to the next one. Next up is the 100 Cupword series by N.D. Wilson again, the same person who wrote the Ashtown Burials, and I tried to, honestly guys, I tried to shave down these lists of my favorite series, but I just couldn't, okay? Like, I tried to go by the thing, like, if I had to live with only these series, which series would I pick? And honestly, I have to say that like all these series are series that I couldn't live without. So this is the prequel, The Door Before, and then the first one is 100 Cupwords. The second one is Dandelion Fire, and the third one is The Chestnut King. So this series also falls in the young adult to fantasy genre. I would recommend this for ages 10 to 11 plus, I would say. But yeah, it also got kind of dark in the end. It has to do a lot. Of course, this is fantasy, so it has a lot of things like fairies and magic, and this is the life-sucking witch, which sounds creepy, and it is kind of, but yeah. So, okay, let me just say first that N.D. Wilson is a Christian author, okay? He was part of this great movie I saw a couple years ago called The Riot and the Dance. Not sure if you've ever heard of it. It's kind of like a nature documentary thing. But yeah, so he is this great movie. I can tell he's a strong Christian worldview. While there's not necessarily any mentions of like Christianity or something like pertaining to Christianity in here, he does have a good standard of right and wrong. I would just caution a bit with all the magic and sort of death kind of things that are going along here. But yeah, anyway, I highly recommend this series. It's a truly gripping series, and even though it might start out slow in the beginning, please, I urge you, give this series a chance. Okay, yeah, it might start out slow, but it's worth it. Okay, next. So next is the Quest for Truth series by Brock Eastman. So Eastman is a Christian author. I'm just gonna say that first. He's a lot of other books that are well written too. I have his Sages of Darkness series, which is kind of a dark too, but I had to pick this series as my favorite of his. So this is a 5-book series, and if you can't tell, he did something cool with them. Truth. It's called Quest for Truth, and I thought that quite appropriate. So the first book is Taken. The second is Risk. The third is Unleash. The fourth is Tangle. And the fifth is Hope, which came out last year, I think, or the beginning of this year, something like that. I think my dad got it for me before Christmas, something like that. It's more of the sci-fi genre. There's a lot of cool space travel, really cool world-building elements here, and amazing characters. It does have a good, a strongly grounded Christian worldview. They call God Creator, they call Jesus Rescuer, and they call the Holy Spirit Helper. So anyways, yeah, it was a really cool kind of allegory, basically about these people searching for the truth about their origin, and they're trying to find their original planet, Earth, which is kind of like the planet we live on, but they call it Earthsprung in the series. Anyways, yeah, so I highly recommend this series. It was amazing. The end was kind of bittersweet because I wanted to see more of the characters, but then that's always me. I always want more after the end. But yeah, so that's that series. I recommend it for ages 10 plus, I'm gonna say. It's not too complicated that 10-year-olds can't understand it, but I think it's also really gripping and entertaining enough for, like, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds to read it as well, and adults would probably like it too, so don't count this out. Next. Okay, this is the last series. I know, I can't believe it. I feel like I had a ton of series to share with you, but anyway, so here is the Children of the Bard series by Brian Davis. Yeah, it's an amazing Christian fantasy series. It has a lot to do with dragons, so anybody who loves dragons would, I think, definitely like this as well. It also does have a bit to do with, like, it mentions things like demons. The characters take trips to hell and Hades, so I would say 11 to 12 plus for this series, I think. It also has a really, 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 really complicated storyline. So the thing is that there are 2 series before this, actually. 2 other 4-book series. The first one is called Dragons in Our Midst, and the second one is Oracles of Fire. So I have the Dragons of Our Midst series on Kindle, so obviously I can't show it to you. But I have that series, I've read it, and it's amazing. So, funny story, my dad got this series for me at the Elche, which is the Ontario Christian Home Education Conference, something like that. Anyways, yeah, he got the series for me at Elche, and brought it back home, not knowing that there were 2 other 4-book series before this. So I started the first book, Song of the Ovulum, kind of confused because I had not much idea what was going on, but thankfully the author provided a good summary of the last 2 series in the back of the book. So I read that was helpful. I do aim to read the Oracles of Fire series soon, someday. Too many books, not enough money. Yeah. So the second book is From the Mouth of Elijah, and the third book is The Seventh Door, and the 4th book is Omega Dragon. So yes, I do highly recommend the Children of the Bard series and the Dragons in Our Midst series. I have not read the Oracles of Fire series yet, so I will have to read that and then do a separate review thing on all these different series. But yeah, anyways, I love this. Super intensely paced. I can say for sure that it made me cry. I won't be ashamed to say that. Good books do make me cry. But it was amazing because it just shows this awesome story of loyalty and courage and friendship, love, bravery, and sacrifice, and I just thought that was super amazing. So yeah, that is it for all my favorite series. I hope you enjoyed this video. Any of these series catch your eye, please go to the links in my description and check them out. So yeah, I will be back, guys, next week with another review. Do not worry, I got it. But yeah, so I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions about books you want me to read, or just anything at all about the video, anything about my channel in general, please drop a comment, and yeah, subscribe if you want to get more awesome book content, and yeah, hit the like button if you like it. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!